We've already introduced the brand new Audi S6 e-tron Avant to you in a classic review with a driving report. If you missed the video, feel free to check it out in the video description. Today, we're heading out for a consumption test. We want to see how suitable the new Audi S6 e-tron Avant is for long distances. That means we'll be testing at 100, 120, and 140. We'll test consumption at 160 kilometers per hour using the onboard computer. We'll also check charging. Its 800-volt system and 94.9 kilowatt-hour battery should recharge from 10 to 80% in 21 minutes. Plus, we'll evaluate driver aids, comfort, and more. Let's get started. Join the Simply Electric community and support us with a like. It's free for you, but a huge help for us. To continue growing the channel, now let's get started with the Nail 9 Audi S6 e-tron Avant. We've set off towards our test route on the A20 highway. That's where we regularly conduct our consumption drives and where we film the majority of our videos, testing all the other vehicles on the exact same stretch of road each time we're out there driving along. Yes, the starting temperature is around 28-29 degrees Celsius. We've brought along the S6 e-tron Avant with us, which delivers up to 405 kilowatts of power from its two electric motors. One on the front axle, one on the rear axle, delivering an impressive amount of electric car power and dynamic driving performance. Stefan, check the tire dimensions. We've got summer tires on. In what dimensions? This time around, we've actually got mixed tires. 245/40 in the front, 275/35 in the rear, on 21 inches. Exactly. That means we will now hit the highway, have 73% state of charge in the battery, and we'll be giving you the consumption readings from the onboard computer at average speeds of 100, 120, 140, and 160 kilometers per hour. We've arrived at our test section on the Autobahn A20, and now we're ready to reset the onboard computer together with you to check the energy consumption. You can see here, we've set the cruise control to 100 kilometers per hour, reset the onboard computer, and now we're going to observe how the consumption on the S6 e-tron Avant Quattro develops over the next 20 kilometers of driving. What I forgot to mention, we're driving in eco mode. We've set the air conditioning to eco as well because it provides sufficient cooling inside the cabin. So we have a comfortable temperature here at 21.5 degrees Celsius. And we also want to talk to you in parallel about the semi-autonomous assistance systems. There's the VW group, which also includes Audi, and I believe they're currently leading the market alongside BMW, Mercedes, and a French automaker. We have a predictive variant on board, meaning the car knows through navigation data, the car knows through. Advanced camera systems, how speed limits are changing ahead, both permanently and during temporary construction zones, and then predictively adjusts the vehicle's speed towards the sign, ensuring you're already driving at the maximum permitted speed as you approach it smoothly. Moreover, we naturally have a steering assistant on board. We also have a lane keeping assistant on board, which ensures that we stay centered in the respective lane, not just on the highway, but also, for example, on country roads. It's really a fantastic and highly useful feature when you're partially assisted in this way. All it requires is holding the steering wheel capacitively, meaning at least 3 fingers on it to activate the feature. And it's aware that we're maintaining the necessary attention and focus throughout. Yes, beyond that, we're now going to guide you step by step through the process of executing a lane change together. That works wonderfully. But I've thoroughly checked both the menu and the vehicle itself, and I still haven't managed to find any trace of a lane change assistant, Stefan. All right. So either it doesn't exist or our car doesn't have it. Feel free to write that in the comments, or maybe I somehow overlooked it. I just knew to do it manually, which it can obviously do. And once you get used to the digital side mirrors, Stefan, maybe you can go ahead and demonstrate it directly in the right mirror right now, if that's possible for you. Then you still have a good view. They're mounted a bit higher compared to how they used to be in the Audi e-tron. We always pointed out they were too low. Audi has now adjusted and raised them higher. It also ensures that you have much better all-around visibility in urban environments, especially in certain scenarios where, for instance, you're driving into a roundabout. In addition, the mirrors come with the blind spot assist integrated, and we also have this LED light here, which offers us a bit of additional support and enhances visibility. Now I'll go ahead and change lanes. It's still indicating that we're too close to the truck, and once we activate the turn signal, it promptly changes to green, showing the lane change is safe to proceed. That everything is fine and we can manually execute the lane change safely and without any issues. A lane change assist would definitely be pretty nice to have. Very handy feature, yeah. What I would additionally wish for from Audi though would also be a highway assist feature system. We're a bit spoiled by Ford with the Blue Cruise up to 130 kilometers per hour, as well as by BMW in the i5 or the i7. The i5 is kind of BMW's counterpart to the Audi A6 e-tron. Then up to 135 kilometers per hour, where I can even take my hands off the steering wheel and just need to stay attentive. And by glancing in the side mirror, I can initiate a lane change. So that would have been pretty cool with Audi somehow. Yeah, I'd definitely be totally into that for sure. Well, what's not there yet might still come around soon, right? Exactly. The moment has arrived. We're now ready to share and present the very first consumption value with everyone. So we drove at an average of 100 kilometers per hour. 12 minutes, 20.5 kilometers, and we achieved an average consumption of an impressive 15.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers driven. Stefan, what do you say? Very tidy. That's when the low drag coefficient really starts to show its worth. Absolutely. And efficient electric motors with no conversion losses. That's something the VW Group is really keen on when it comes to Audi. So that's really good. Yes, we definitely want to jump straight into the word computer with you. What we've done here is set the adaptive cruise control to a fixed speed of 120 kilometers per hour. And now, over the next 20 kilometers, we're going to closely observe and analyze how the consumption behaves in this S6 Avant e-tron Quattro. For a solid electric car in 2025, proper charging planning is just as essential as route planning, ensuring a smooth and efficient journey overall. Audi has been offering that right from the very first hour, you could say. Yes, it has always worked quite well indeed. And with the Audi e-tron route planner starting back then, I believe in 2018, it set some good standards, and hopefully now paired with a solid voice control system as well. Audi has always excelled in that, and now it's been elevated to a completely new level. And of course, we're excited to test that out together with you here in one take by saying, "Hey Audi, hello, what can I do? Please take us to Munich to Viktualienmarkt 1 as quickly as possible." Munich Viktualienmarkt 1. I'm starting the navigation. Yeah, it's like a dream, isn't it? It truly doesn't get any better than this. What's impressive is how he's smoothly and quickly building up the corresponding route right here on the spot. We can really nicely display the overview directly on the map here as well, also using Google Maps, which gives us a clear and detailed perspective of the area. That obviously requires a bit of data volume, takes a little longer because of the Google Maps display, but you can also switch it back to the regular Audi map. So in principle, we would make 3 charging stops, or actually 2, if I'm interpreting this correctly here. No, 3. Yes, right up here, exactly. And it's identifying and locating available charging stations for us along the way. There where you can, for instance, with the Audi e-tron charging card, you can then simply charge as needed without any issues. So because of that, it's truly a fantastic system. We also have the option here, naturally, to fine-tune and optimize the charging settings accordingly within the menu settings. Whether we want to use the e-tron route planner, whether we prefer Audi charging with the Audi charging card that's included, we can decide. Where, of course, also set the charging spot. Destination level is adjustable here. Also bei den Ladestationen können wir das ebenfalls entsprechend gut einstellen. Deshalb muss ich sagen, Audi macht das, wie ich finde, sehr ordentlich, sodass man hier im Prinzip nach seinen Bedürfnissen gut planen kann. What I would have wished for is a filter function so that you could maybe also filter charging providers separately, for example, if you have a subscription with a specific provider, so that you can then select it and get directed and guided only to, for example, Ionity, Aral Pals, ENBW, Aligo, or also Fastnet. We've now successfully covered the next good 20 kilometers and want to take a closer look together at the energy consumption of the Audi S6 e-tron Avant Quattro. We maintained an average speed of 120 kilometers per hour, completing the 20.6 kilometer stretch in 10 minutes, while consuming an average of 19.67 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers driven. I also think that's a very, very decent value. Yes, we're accelerating to 140 kilometers per hour. We'll now reset the onboard computer together with you, and we'll see over the next 20 kilometers at an average speed of 140 kilometers per hour how the consumption in this vehicle will develop. A good electric car, one that you enjoy using on long trips, also comes with a good sound system. Absolutely. And here we've built a really good one, I believe. In any case, there's the optional Bang & Olufsen sound system. Regarding the quality, right? Yeah, clean highs, clear mids, nice soundstage, deep bass included, and it all blends together seamlessly and impressively. You get it in two versions, one standard setup and another with additional speakers built into the headrest, perfect for clear navigation prompts or other audio notifications. I'd absolutely recommend it if you're considering a premium sound system and are someone who genuinely values high-quality audio. Is it that time again? Yep, we've got the next 20 kilometers done. Always seems faster, right? Of course, at higher speed. 140 kilometers per hour, average speed 9 minutes, 20.5 kilometers, and 23 or, well, let's go with 23 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers driven. Oh, Waller, the Forest Fairy, right? Yes, I really like that. Yes, you've got to give him credit for that, truly. He does that very, very well. We've made the U-turn, driving in the opposite direction, and now we want to reset the onboard computer at 160 kilometers per hour and consistently drive at 160 kilometers per hour to see what the consumption looks like in the S6 e-tron Avant Quattro. Stefan, what's your take on this situation? Under 30 or over 30? I trust him. We'll stay under 30. Bye. Excited. For a really good electric car in 2025, of course, besides the assistance systems and route and charging planning, there's a sound system, so you can enjoy good sound even on long drives. At the very least, excellent travel comfort is a must. We're showcasing the sportiest version of the A6 e-tron here, the S6 variant, equipped with the sporty air suspension system. Stefan, we've got a trusted tool with us that's been consistently delivering precise and reliable data for the past 5 years now, ensuring we can fairly and accurately compare all vehicles on equal terms. This tool happens to be named just like you, right? Yes, exactly. It's called Stefan's Popometer, carefully calibrated, regularly maintained, and personally verified by me. So Stefan, what's it showing today? And you're the one who takes care of the Popometer regularly. That's for another year, so don't get any ideas now. I naturally treat Stefan with great food, drinks, amazing trips, and excellent entertainment during our tours. Just to be absolutely clear, we're warm and brotherly with each other, but we're not warm brothers in any way. But now go ahead, tell us what your Popometer is indicating here. Yes, indeed. So, the seats, super comfortable. I have good side support, great thigh support, etc. I think it's cool that I can adjust the entire seat electrically in all directions. It's really fun. You've already mentioned the air suspension. It's super smooth in terms of the ride quality. Very comfortable, even though it's a bit sportier. It stays nicely firm though. Speed bumps and such don't bother it much. Really comfortable. Yes, I can only fully agree with that. You've got outstanding ergonomics here as the driver, particularly with that long wheelbase of 2.95 meters. You don't, I think, feel every pothole or groove that would otherwise, let's say, shoot right into your backside, giving you a smoother and more comfortable ride overall. Audi's always been known for comfort. I drove the A8 for years, and even back then, it had excellent air suspension for a smooth travel experience, that you arrive at your destination feeling relatively at ease and refreshed after such a long drive without any of your limbs aching, stiff, or causing any kind of discomfort. So for me, in the S6, the balance between comfort and sportiness is extremely well executed, and it really hits the mark in both areas. We've just recorded a new consumption figure. Specifically, we covered 21.9 kilometers at an average speed of 157 kilometers per hour in just 8 minutes, which resulted in an average energy consumption of 32.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers driven. Stefan, let's take the wind turbines for example. There are, after all, a few experts who can distinguish between tailwinds, crosswinds, headwinds and swirling winds based on the wind turbines. Yes, just so you can see that we're consistently transparent and substantial in providing you with the accurate consumption data. We're now displaying all the tables that Stefan always prepares so meticulously, including the other tested vehicles, so you can get a very, very clear and comprehensive overview, whether the values of the S6 e-tron are good, less good, or simply truly and absolutely outstanding. Which is absolutely outstanding, and that brings us right back to the topic, but it's also, I think, naturally the power that truly makes it stand out. 370 kilowatts or up to 405 in launch mode drive the S6 forward with 551 horsepower and 855 Newton meters. The top speed is supposed to be 240 kilometers per hour, but as you can see here, we'll even hit 249 kilometers per hour with you. That's of course a great story because naturally, on open highways like here in Mecklenburg, we always aim to fully enjoy reaching the maximum speed, even in an electric car. And especially when you want to move quickly and swiftly, then 249 kilometers per hour is of course an optimal cruising speed. The chassis handles it well, nice and firm yet comfortable. I switched to dynamic mode to truly bring out the car's maximum performance potential. The air suspension also makes it soft yet firm and comfortable. It handles the corresponding bumps, ruts, and cross grooves with ease. So in that regard, you really have to give Audi credit. They've created a proper long-distance vehicle with the S6. But having created the e-tron Quattro, yes, Stefan, is there anything else you'd like to add or mention about it at this point? No, I'm absolutely thrilled. So incredibly smooth, just rock solid on the road. It's so relaxing. If consumption doesn't spike, we can easily cruise all the way to Lake Garda. Yeah, pretty much, sure, because we always enjoy free passage for free citizens. We want to accelerate out and measure the elasticity with you from 80 now, hopefully pushing towards top speed if traffic doesn't throw a wrench in our plans or unexpectedly slow us down along the way. Let's see just how far we can push it today, shall we, folks? And that's also happening quickly here at 41% battery level, moving forward with the 800-volt system, and even in this tight, long right-hand curve at 249 kilometers per hour, it sits, in my opinion, pretty firmly on the asphalt. And yeah, Stefan, this is where an S6 truly shines and becomes a lot of fun. That's exactly what Audi can do. They've been doing it for years with combustion engines and now in electromobility. And I'm sure you've got some great numbers for us, measured with the Draghi Pair GPS. Let's take a look. So for acceleration, 80 to 120 in 2.37, 100 to 160 in 4.97, 100 to 180 in 7.63, and 100 to 211.1 inches. That's still a solid value, sure. There are Porsche Taycan GTs that completely dominate in this category, and soon the Lucid Sapphire will make its mark as well. But let's not forget the context. Or take this Xiaomi SU7 Ultra, right? Yeah, the one that holds the record on the wet track, I believe, right? Yeah, I think that's still the case, but I could imagine that the Porsche engineers in Weissach are already working hard on developing another update for it. Yeah, I was gonna say, they're itching to do it, they can't leave it alone. But look, how cool is it to blast through at 249, right? Yeah, it's fun. So now we'll smoothly go into recuperation. I'll crank it up to the maximum again. Here in front of us, there's a nice ID bus, and we're really going for it. They, of course, brake because we always want to maintain a safe following distance, logically with the vehicle ahead. We're driving strictly within traffic regulations, now smoothly cruising at 140 on electric power. Yes, it's moving forward effortlessly with its 2.41 tons. We're already back at 200 kilometers per hour, and honestly, this is exactly how I imagine an S6. And I sincerely wish from the bottom of my heart, Audi, please make it happen for all the Audi fans around the globe. Just do it. Make the RS6 e-tron where we can just smash everything here somehow. Or something, I don't know, 1,000 horsepower and just something so completely irrational, you know, where it's like the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing, cruising at 250 smoothly. It's absolutely wonderful and utterly thrilling. The steering is nicely stiffened through the Servotronic Plus function, so even with a different steering wheel, you always have a secure feeling at these speeds. Yeah, and where you naturally sometimes have the wolf in sheep's clothing cruising a bit with the missus and the kids, and then letting it rip a bit with the boys on the open road. Or how awesome would that be? Now I'm even getting the tortoise, huh? What's next? Yeah, was that never the power of the turtle? What's going on here with this Audi? But it doesn't go beyond 2020, 2025. Yeah, so he just wants to charge now. And of course, we want to do that with you because we naturally aim to perform the charging check from 10 to 80%. The forecast is that we should arrive with 9% stay at charge here at the rest stop, the Nederland near Ionity, where we might also demonstrate the maximum charging power of 270 kilowatts peak and hopefully validate the factory claim from 10 to 80%. We want to make it in 21 minutes, Stefan, right? What do you say? That would be desirable given the temperature seems today. Yes, then I'd say let's go for it and plug in. And here we are at Ionity, where we're supposed to get the maximum charging power available at every single station they've got here. Of course, we'll take the Audi to number 1, because that's where it hopefully belongs, right? Yes, charging speed, right? Hopefully. So that means we also have a nice 360-degree camera system on board, which, as we've already noticed, seems to lag a bit behind the times. You have to be careful not to accidentally edge too close, right? And what could also be a bit sharper in terms of clarity, huh? Oh, you really have to, yeah. I mean, I don't know, the colors also don't seem quite real, do they? Weird, because of the color depth, right? We've reached the pillar at 10% and are now nicely building up tension. Here, we're aiming to hit a peak of 270 kilowatts, or even push beyond that, because at einfach elektrisch, we're always striving to surpass the maximum charging times by a bit more. Yes, often you ask us, hey Olli, how do you guys charge? Well, most of the time we rely on a charging card, and behind that is InCharge. And Charge is a system that's accessible both as a web browser and an app, where you can collect free kilometers by using affiliate links and making purchases. By rating these charging stations or taking part in e-challenges, you contribute to improving the overall situation a little for the whole community. Overall, we've already charged more than 50,000 kilometers for free, connected to InCharge with our charging card, so we just have to hold the card up and with enough free kilometers, simply recharge using the free kilometers. If you're interested, check it out in the video description. For 5 years, we've always charged for free with InCharge. Yes, and here with the Audi e-tron S6, we've now reached 245 kilowatts with 673 volts. That will likely develop later, I believe, towards 800 volts as well. After just 1 minute, we've already recharged almost 5 kilowatt hours. And yeah, I'm actually impressed that it handles the thermal load of our maximum speed, and now, of course, the energy from charging as well, and that it will hopefully cope well with the thermal load so that we can then, later, manage 270 kilowatts and more. We're at 25%, and it's worsening, not improving. 184 kilowatts, 680 volts, almost 17 kilowatt hours recharged in 5 minutes. But somehow, the outside temperatures of 28.5, 29 degrees, combined with fast driving and maybe also heat from the charging itself. Somehow, at least not inspiring peak performance. I think 245 must have been the peak then, that is. Quite low, especially if you're supposed to charge at 270. That's exactly why our tests, I think, can be important for you. Because the manufacturer's specifications are based on maximum surgical and anatomical test conditions in specific specialized centers, but the real-world performance here tells a different story. Now it drops down to 178, then climbs back up to 180. It seems to be struggling with itself a bit. Not that he's got a cold or is sniffling summer flu. Yes, yes. The loading wave is also ideal to show you the S6 Avant e-tron Quattro again from the outside. Here we have it in a stunning velvet beige metallic, perfectly paired with the glossy black exterior package and the Tech Plus package. It looks really sharp, it's got serious power, a true fighter, with its thermal management system to combat the heat in the battery. On board are some sleek 21-inch wheels, also here in the RS rim. Glossy black because they're not as aerodynamically optimized, but still with a good consumption value. Paired, of course, with a stylish look. The red brake calipers, they're probably available for around 300 euros, 350 euros extra then. Yes, it's available as a sportback, then back here as a kind of fleece hack, or like we have it in the Avant version. As a sportback, it even has a significantly better drag coefficient at 0.21 instead of 0.24. But many of you are probably wagon fans, and Audi proudly refers to the most stunning wagon in its lineup as such indeed. Closely related, and you really have to say it's quite a gem. It really is beautiful, I like it. Audi still excels in design, leads in technology, even if not right away during charging. Yeah, it's all sleek. And what's also great is that you've got 502 liters of trunk space here, which you can even expand up to an impressive 1428 liters by simply folding down the rear seat backs completely, giving you plenty of room. In a 40-20-40 split, so you've got the flexibility to load through for skis or any other long item you might need. Then it has an impressive 100 kilogram roof load, right, Stefan? Exactly, and 100 kilogram trailer load. On the optional tow bar, you've got a braked trailer load capacity of up to 2.1 tons, even when facing a 12% incline gradient. That's also something special, I think, for sedans or station wagons. That's usually only found with SUVs and so on. And you naturally have the option to tow a heavier trailer of up to 2.1 tons. Stefan, let's check where he's at now. He's steady, dropping down to 116, then climbing back up to 170. He's clearly struggling with the heat just as we are. They say a Sahara. Rescue is on its way to help. That's probably a new type of climate change. Or perhaps Sahara-level heat waves. And over 40 degrees there, so in the Bryce score, you know, where we drove along in the New Motion Rally with the Opel Mokka E-Team and the air conditioning, that was also an awesome experience. So much fun. We never really brought it up. We're just not like that, you know. Number right? No, exactly. We just went ahead and did it, didn't we? Yeah, anyway, we stuck with it and pushed through all the way. 50% after 12 minutes. We're charging at around 160, 170 kilowatts. It keeps fluctuating up and down. We've now, yes, already replenished 39 kilowatt hours in the 12 minutes into the 94.9 kilowatt hour net capacity battery pack. We're also slowly approaching the 800 volts, now at 703 volts. That's always the full voltage towards the end. And yeah, somehow we still haven't managed to reach the 270 kilowatt peak power. Well, I don't think we're going to get it anyway. Okay, so now it's just maintaining the charging power to keep it somewhat. That's what it's all about. Or rather, it's about keeping it smoothly steady in a high range. If he's steady at 160 to 180, it's great. He likely won't hit 21 minutes. Could be tight, yeah. What's going on now? Around 21 minutes, he's dropped to 130. 60%. 66 kilowatt hours. Back in the day, we would have said, what's Ollie up to now? Zipping around. Today, you're driving a smart hashtag, 5. Off. 49,099 euros with up to 419 kilowatts in 14 minutes, 42 seconds, 10 to 80, 100 kilowatt hour battery. So the e-tron has to accept that, and Audi as well. We can't just say, yeah, what do you even want? A Taycan can do it in under 17 minutes too. So I genuinely have to stop and really wonder what's actually happening here. Well, we'll see. Yeah, it could still take a bit longer. No joke for now though, let's just wait and watch. So you're not gonna get diesel Dieter or petrol Petra to switch to an electric car, are you? Definitely not, because let's be honest, you at least have to somewhat stick to the manufacturer's claims. 80%, 25 minutes, 70.2 kilowatt hours, 745 volts. It's honestly a bit disappointing, Audi. I'd have really wanted to see him pull it off here. Doesn't match the slogan, Vorsprung durch Technik, does it? Not quite? Did they drop it entirely? We'll have to ask Marjana. Yes. We set the adaptive cruise control to 240 kilometers per hour, but the colleague still isn't properly staying in the lane. That would have turned really nasty, I believe, if I hadn't stepped in right at that moment, Manuel. But the fact that you can even enter 240 kilometers per hour is already a step forward. That's definitely really cool.
Yeah.
And with all the systems in place. So we're talking here about lane assist, steering assist. It's now accelerating back up to 240 kilometers per hour on its own. So it naturally maintains the appropriate distance. Now it's also detecting the approaching car with its radar system. I think it doesn't have a leader system installed here. That's still a bit of a disadvantage in the semi-autonomous system. The cars are sometimes detected relatively late when they leave the lane or approach it. You can see that here very, very clearly in our system. It's quite noticeable indeed, really. Field test. But it's now swiftly and dynamically accelerating with its 370 kilowatts, rapidly climbing back up to the entered target speed of 240 kilometers per hour. Yeah, that's already quite an impressive feat. That it can drive semi-autonomously up to 240 kilometers per hour. Yeah, that's already good. Yeah, let's measure the consumption in parallel, because now we're here and I think we'll do around 20-25 kilometers of highway at full sprint. So everything it's got, that way Diesel Dieter and Petrol Burble and probably even spelled Dörte might finally get excited about electric mobility, right? Right. Folks, we've got 68% remaining in the battery. We've just driven 17 kilometers at a steady, brisk pace. For the last stretch, we also kept it consistently at 250 kilometers per hour because we didn't want to let this Lamborghini Urus pull away. And now it's going back into some kind of safety mode again, showing us the turtle symbol. All right, seriously now, how are you going to convince the driver of a Lamborghini Urus to buy an S6 Avant e-tron? First, obviously, he's over 250 kilometers per hour, I know. Look, there, zoom in, Stefan. We're still managing to keep up with him a little since there's some traffic around here. But seriously now, you can't claim a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour and then not even manage to hit it within 20 kilometers. Well, so what kind of numbers are these, huh? Look, I mean, he's probably pretty happy that Felix was able to somewhat keep up with him in an electric car here today, honestly. But I just find it disappointing from Audi. Now I'm limited to 250 kilometers per hour here. Earlier I thought it was the battery, but it's not about that. It seems to be simply due to the drive or the programming here, or I don't know. So write it in the comments. I'm genuinely concerned that Prosecco Petra might also make the shift to electric mobility. We have a new consumption value for you. 194 kilometers per hour average speed. 9 minutes to travel 30.6 kilometers and an energy consumption rate of 61.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers driven. Yes, that's likely also one of the reasons why Diesel Dieter ... Gasoline Burble,
Ja.
Nickel Daughter and Prosecco Petra tend to act the way they do. And let's not forget Aperol Annie. Aperol Annie, awesome. Maybe say, hey, if I ever really wanted to drive that fast for a longer time, that fast, want to drive, so 194 kilometers per hour average speed, so we're talking beyond 200 kilometers per hour, of course. Yes, but combustion engines burn through fuel really fast, like in my 911, you know? That's also 200 kilometers of altitude. So you're saying that's not the crux of the matter? No, it's not. So it's also not about maybe fueling for 5 minutes instead of charging for 25? That's the crux of the matter. So the bottleneck still persists for all the mentioned ones, including Aperol, Annie, and likely the charging station builders as well. Right, but there's supposed to be some kind of super Mercedes. AMG GTX X coming soon, which can somehow recharge with 1,000 kilowatt hours. Which stations? They'll likely build them. Oh, okay, yeah, obviously. We'll take it, right? Hopefully, we'll still be driving, right? Let's get to the conclusion with the Audi S6 e-tron Avant as a Quattro. We'll have to break this down a little bit. So, we're revisiting the review and driving experience. Great design, nice interior, apart from a few minor details. Also a solid mix of materials, combined with good seating ergonomics, a fantastic chassis, and an outstanding drive in terms of both performance and endurance. Except it can't hold 52 kilometers per hour. But who does in electromobility? Efficiency I found really awesome, up to 140 kilometers per hour. Yeah, well, 60 then drifted a bit, but that's what we're used to. I don't think any other electric car drops off at that point, so that's pretty much expected. Where it really disappointed me was with the charging power. You know, I would have thought Audi could manage that, just like Porsche always tries to, with truly maximum cooling capacity, high cooling energy, and then also achieving maximum charging power from any starting point. He was 4 minutes slower this time. It's a user error. Going full throttle the whole time overheats the battery and drive. Where's the heat supposed to go? Plus the heat generated from charging, which just makes it doubly painful and frustrating, you know? But in the end, the mentioned ladies and gentlemen will also say it doesn't matter when fueling up, right? Right? Exactly. So, and that has to... Exactly, so that's why you might have to approach it a bit like that. Yes, even if it's still a new technology for many manufacturers at the moment, overall, I think you're definitely getting a truly solid and well-rounded package deal here. Maybe not even from the list prices, which are quite ambitious. I know what an Audi A6 starts at, from around 62,000 euros for the Sportback in the base model. Or, like ours, fully loaded, it hits 110,000, 120,000 euros in the S6. Audi Avant e-tron Quattro. But please don't let that steer or guide you, because I know Audi, through Audi Bank, offers truly sensational leasing and financing conditions. And of course, they also create purchase incentives for cash buyers, so I think you should start by visiting the dealer to check out the rates and carefully explore your options. Sometimes you can snag a steal. Yeah, always keep your eyes open. The leasing market can also be highly recommended. There are always great deals available. In any case, I think it definitely makes sense to take the Audi A6 e-tron for a test drive. Also, feel free to try the S6 like the one we drove at your preferred Audi dealer. Gladly at our partner here in the Northeast, the Neugruppe, with the Auto Forum, among other locations in Neubrandenburg, where you can regularly experience and test drive the latest Audi models. We can only highly recommend it to you, but feel free to share your thoughts on the S6 after these 2 videos in the comments. And that brings us to the conclusion of today's video, where we thoroughly examined the consumption test and charging check of the Audi S6 Avant e-tron Quattro. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up. Make sure to check if you're part of the einfach elektrisch community. We'd really appreciate your support with a subscription, so you never miss out on our latest videos. Around electric mobility, I sincerely thank you for watching. Stay healthy and see you soon. Your Olli. Hey Stefan, so it's lit at the back, but the front rings should also light up. Okay, cool. But with it in front and back, is he the Lord of the Rings? Then definitely one step closer to his goal, right?